Hey babies, welcome back to another video and welcome to our first wedding video. This is the first of many and this is our brand new Juneteenth wedding series here on the channel. We're super excited about this. I don't want to be like super mushy or like dorky in this video because I will get in my feels, but we're finally getting married after being together for 7 years.
72.
For 7 years, and we have a bit of a story to tell. So we just wanted to make kind of like an introductory video so you guys can really get to know us, really get to know like our whole situation before we jump into it. And yeah, so this is my fiance Kent.
Hi.
In case you don't know, and if you want, you can go ahead and tell them about how we met. So how did we meet?
We met on the internets.
We met on the internets.
Twitter, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, technically.
We was like doing those follow trains. You remember those?
Oh my god. Yeah. I think that's initially how we
came across each other
because also, if you don't know, I am from Brooklyn, New York, and he is from Augusta, Georgia.
Right.
So
we had no
reason to meet each other. I was in college at the time. I went to Virginia State University, so I was living in Virginia when we actually started talking, but he was still in Georgia. So yeah, it was definitely through a follow train that we started following each other. We're literally telling our age right now because that's so like old. That's like if you were an originator on Twitter, you would know what a follow train is.
You know what that is.
Yeah.
That's how we started following each other. And then after that, it was just like, I used to see her like every day post something. Or like her face will just come on my timeline like every day. And I'd be like, yo, why is this person always in my face?
He was tired of seeing me, basically is what he's trying to say.
Yes. Because but I used to see her every day, and then like one day she just said something that caught my attention. I have no clue what it was.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was like 8 years ago. But yeah, she said something, and
yeah, like 8.5, really. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
And then I just messaged her like, I just replied to whatever it was she said.
We did a lot of like back and forth. Like if you're on social media, especially, I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably familiar with social media.
Right.
If you're on social media, you know how you could have your eye on someone and you might recognize someone even though you don't know them in real life. Like you just see their name, you see their pictures all the time. So it's like you kind of feel like, okay, like I know who that is. And we had a lot of like back and forth little comments and
like
stuff like that
spurts.
To each other.
Yeah.
And eventually it just got to a point where he commented on one of my Instagram photos, and then we kind of just exchanged numbers, and then the rest is history. We hadn't stopped talking ever since
like the spring of 2004.
Yeah,
2004.
Oh my god, Jesus. 2014. 2014. Yeah, and then the rest is history. Like, literally, we're cool homies at first. He's my best friend now. Exactly, like my absolute best friend. We do everything together. So it's a beautiful thing.
What was that like for you?
What?
Like just the whole Twitter back and forth.
I mean, it was kind of interesting, to be honest, because being that I was in college, even though I was on a black college campus, how I met a lot of my friends, like my closest friends, you know this.
Yeah.
I've met them all on social media, even though we were like on the same campus or lived in the same neighborhoods or whatever. It was like I still met them through social media to a point where it was like, hey, you want to meet up for drinks, or like, hey, we're in the same class together, like I'll say hi to you tomorrow, like that type of thing. And that's how like a lot of my bonds started. So talking to you on there wasn't,
it was normal.
It was very normal to me. It was just like, this is just how we meet people now. But the long distance part was probably the hardest part of our relationship.
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge. But just walking back, for me, it wasn't as normal. Like, the normal part was the, like, exchange between each other, because, like, again, like we said before, like, if you were people of social media at that time, that's what you did.
If you're a millennial.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a millennial, this is what you do.
That's what you did. You just get online, talk to random people.
Yeah.
Like, and that goes back to, like, chat rooms. So, like, that part of things was normal. But at the time, like, just personally, I wasn't looking for anything. Like,
no.
So it wasn't like that, didn't even register into my mind, like, at the time. So
no.
Yeah, but like you said, it just progressed very fast.
It did. And everything about it felt very natural. Like, it wasn't anything that happened that was like uncomfortable or like weird, or because even when we did, like, fast forward, even when we did wind up meeting in person, he came down to visit me, and it was like we had known each other for years. Like, everything just clicked. It was no awkward anything. Everything was just fun. Like, we went to the movies, went to a park. Like, we had like a great time. And it was just like from there, it was literally like, okay.
That weekend felt like one of the longest weekends, even though we only spent like a day and a half together.
Yeah, we had a really short time together. But I think that says a lot about your connection with someone, is even if you are only spending a short amount of time with someone, if you can have all of the fun in the world and like make all the memories just within 2 days that you can't stop thinking about, like that's just, it's undeniable. So
absolutely.
So the engagement, the proposal, I want to say that it was definitely a proposal, but it was more so of a, this is what we're working towards type of a situation. It wasn't like a traditional like proposal where it was like, okay, now we're engaged, like, let's, within a year's time, let's immediately start planning. That's not at all what our intentions were at the time. We were definitely very much so like, we knew that we wanted to spend our lives together, but it was just more so like, this is my person, and I want everyone else to know that this is my person.
Yeah, so for me, being the person who was proposing, I've developed my own kind of way of thinking about relationships, like romantic relationships. And it's something that I expressed to her, like, from basically once we started dating. It was like, if I see you at a certain way, at a certain point, like, that's when I'm ready to say, all right, like, let's start dating. And then that just goes into, like, if I feel like I can't live another day, like, without you, then I'm gonna propose. Like, and I told her that from before, like,
you were very clear about that from the beginning. Like, he was like, look, I, not to be too serious, but like, this is what my intentions are. I can see a life with you. And
but I just wanted to be direct about my thoughts and like ideas towards a relationship, because I hadn't at that point been in a relationship for like years. So, and I wasn't looking for one. But
we just met, and it was just like, I kind of
like, the energy was there, so,
I kind of like you.
But so when it came to proposing, it wasn't like a pressure thing to where like, all right, nah.
Because
like,
how long had we been together at that point?
Like
2.5 years?
Nah, it was only like 1.5.
It was 1.5?
Yeah, it was the end of 2015.
Okay,
So,
yeah, so it was almost 2 years. Okay, yeah.
so at that point, she's about to graduate from college or whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, before anything, we was making sure that happened first.
Yeah.
Like, so before we even even started talking about any type of wedding plans or anything like that, we was crossing that bridge first.
Yeah, we like long story short, we have a very intentional relationship, I feel
Yeah.
like, and not even just like romantic relationship, but like just within our friendship with each
Mm-hmm.
other, there's intentions set, and we like to go about things a certain way,
Right.
not to be so structured, but like it's kind of like
It, it
we
it
have
helps each other.
goals.
Yeah, it helps
Yeah.
each other out. Like, we know where each other is at on things pretty
Mm-hmm.
much at all times. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not like she said, not to have it super structured to where
Yeah, no.
like we have to follow this
Yeah,
plan, but it's always best to have a plan that when things get shaken up, you know what you could like move around to still get to the end goal.
when we did wind up getting engaged, like to answer the question of why did we wait so long? Why
Mm-hmm.
7 years before, or
Yeah.
six years or so since we were engaged? Like, why wait? But that's the answer. It's because we weren't. That wasn't. There were other things that were happening that
Yeah.
were more important at the time
Mm-hmm.
to accomplish, and this was
Yeah.
more so just like a. This is what we're moving towards.
There
in the
was like
future.
a unspoken checklist of things.
Basically.
Like,
Basically.
all right, like live together for a little while or whatever, travel a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
we wanted to,
experience life. Yeah.
we wanted to see each other in certain light and certain avenues, as well as just we want to do things our way.
Because that's the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would always tell people too, especially when we first moved in together,
Mm-hmm.
when people would say, "So when's the wedding? When's the wedding?" And I would be like, "We're not getting married until one, we want to.
Mm-hmm.
Two, we can afford to have it the way that we
Right.
want to have it, because we never had like wanted to have a big spectacle of a ceremony, but we have very specific things
Yeah.
that are important to us to be like implemented in our wedding, and like how we want it to look, how we want it to feel. So we didn't want to like rush into doing that
Yeah,
until it felt right.
and that process within itself like just took a while. Like, we went from like rooftop in the city to like
Yeah.
even what city we want to have it, like Charlotte, Richmond,
Yeah.
Jersey, Georgia. Like, it
There were
was like,
so many different
yeah. So,
like options.
and meanwhile, life is happening. Like, so we were never in a rush per se.
No.
We knew what the goal is and
Yeah.
like what the goal was. We even had an original date that we changed probably like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it just all comes back to we want to do things our way, the way we want it to be. And just like anything else we do, we want it to have a feel to it. Basically with this wedding, we're displaying us.
Absolutely. We want to
So,
bring you guys and our
yeah.
guests. We want to bring you into what
And who.
and who we
We are,
are.
yeah.
Exactly. And that's absolutely the best way to explain that. So we chose Juneteenth for our wedding date because I feel like we are very proud
Yeah.
in our own skin. We are very much so culture enthusiasts, I like to say. We're very, we're constantly like watching documentaries and learning more about African American culture in general. We frequent museums all the time. Like, we just love our people, and the
Right.
history of Juneteenth in itself is so important. And I really feel like there's not too many of us who actually celebrate it. And I feel like this is an opportunity for us to really implement it into our lives on a regular basis. So when we were trying to figure out like a summer
Yeah.
date, like a date in the summertime that would be, a good, representation of us and a date that we want to remember for years to come as our wedding anniversary, I felt like this was just the perfect.
It was the best date.
It was literally just like the perfect date that we could have came across and like thought of. We were originally planning to get married last year, before the panorama happened. And yeah, so Juneteenth 2020 was our absolute date. Okay, our absolute date. And it was just, the powers that be said that it wasn't time yet.
Right.
And, you know, we all at that time last year went through so much. Like, it was such a crazy time. It still kind of is, especially depending on what your life is, where you're located. Like, things are crazy.
Yeah, still even just remembering last year on Juneteenth, how crazy was.
That was.
Like, because even just going to the city and seeing, like, the protests and stuff happening, like...
Instead of us, you know, getting married, we decided that we wanted to go to the city, have a picnic, like, try and make, like, the best of that day.
Right.
And what we actually experienced after having a really personal time with each other was, you know, all of the protests for Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and everything that was going on. So it was just, last year was a whirlwind of experiences, and I feel like it really opened a lot of us up to reminding ourselves of how short life is and how special connections with people, with your loved ones are. And I feel like going into our wedding this year, not to say that that's something that we didn't already know and feel, but I feel like everything feels so much more special because even with like our grandparents and our parents being, you know, far away and having to deal with being high risk for, you know, COVID and things like that and the vaccine and all of that, it's like us being able to see them finally after all of this time is going to be so special. We haven't been able to be around them at all. So there's a lot of like highlights and things that we're looking forward to in the whole experience of our wedding this year.
The wedding is going to be very boho, like Afro-bohemian.
Yes.
Is what we like to call it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you ever heard it, just that's us. So very Afro-bohemian. So, you know, just the like earth tone vibes, very flowy.
Yes.
You know, just...
like think boho chic. Right? Because we all know what bohemian is nowadays. It's very trendy. You go into Target, you see everything that's very like rustic and greenery is everywhere and whatever. But it's like, think that, but like black. Like think that, but like with afros and melanated, rich black powerness is what's happening. That's what Afro-bohemian is. So that's our wedding.
So that's the vibe. Nice little backyard shindig.
Yeah, it's going to be a backyard wedding. And I think it's going to be really cozy, but also a lot. Like, I think it's going to be a lot. And in this series, you guys will get to experience how we're putting it together ourselves because we're absolutely doing that ourselves. We don't have a wedding planner, anything like that. All of these things are our own original ideas. A shout out to Pinterest, and Google and YouTube for coming through with the tutorials. We have, oh my gosh, we have so many like videos to share.
Yeah, so y'all just stay tuned. Like, we currently sitting around stuff that we're going to be putting together for y'all real soon. Like,
we're talking about, we're building our arch. We did a greenery wall that we're going to share with you guys. We're decorating our own tables. I have to make my bouquet. He's customizing our shoes.
Doing the custom shoes. Doing the arch.
There's so many things. There's vlogs, shopping vlogs.
Wedding favors. Like pretty much everything that you could put, like every piece of the wedding is gonna be touched by us in some way.
Yeah.
In
Some way,
some
shape, or
way,
form.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
just be on the lookout. We coming through with the content for y'all. Like I know some of y'all out here getting married. Some of y'all,
Yes.
you know, just like wedding stuff. Like
Yeah. And it's crazy to me how one supportive you guys have been already throughout the process. Because if you don't
amazing.
follow us on Instagram, please do.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is at joynavon and his is at true_artistry. I
Yeah.
will put it on the screen and link it down below in the description box. But like, I've been doing these wedding polls pretty
Mm-hmm.
much weekly
Yeah.
on my
Really
Instagram.
daily.
It's not daily yet,
I
but
mean,
if you keep up, it feels like you see them all the
yeah.
time. Um, but yeah, I've been doing these wedding polls, and you guys are showing up and showing out for them every
Mm-hmm.
single time. We're like, when's the next poll? Like, go with this. Don't pick that one. Pick this
Yeah.
one. Like, we want to see you guys with this one. Like, you guys are so interactive with this experience. So I'm really hoping that you're going to keep that same energy for the
Please,
series. Like,
yes.
please keep that same energy. Make sure you subscribe to the channel,
Mm-hmm.
comment down below, and make sure you have your post notifications turned on so that you don't miss anything, because you don't want to miss. Do they
Yeah,
want
nah.
to? Okay.
Nah, this is gonna be the one that you want to see
Exactly.
for real.
You don't want to miss out.
And like you don't even just want to see it. Like we are welcoming you to be a part of it, and we really
Exactly.
want to share this with you guys. So please, please,
Yes.
you know, like,
Subscribe,
subscribe,
share,
share,
share.
share. Let people know that Black love is happening.
Exactly. Black love exists.
We
It's
here.
here. It's true.
We here.
It's an ongoing thing.
We really want to thank you guys for, coming and, just listening to our story.
Absolutely.
And this is just the beginning. Like, there's so much more, like, for us to share with you guys. And we're just so ready to share this with you guys.
So ready.
Yeah.
And we hope that during this time, too, you guys really get to know us
Right.
a little bit more, because I feel like you guys know me, but you guys don't know certain parts of me. And I feel like you guys haven't really gotten to know him that much. And you definitely haven't gotten to know us all that much as a couple. So this is just a full-blown experience of like us, getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm. And just as much as you guys are getting to know us, we want to get to know about you guys too. So
Absolutely.
definitely throw some comments down. Tell us your story, and
Comment of the day. What is your love story? Tell us your love story. I would love to hear how you met your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. We would love to know that. I think that would be so fun to like read through. So definitely leave that down below. So like we said before, make sure you guys like this video, follow us on Instagram. And yeah, until then, we will just see you guys in the next episode of our Juneteenth wedding. Bye.